Made it. Made it to dyno day. Skeptical at best. Got the fresh new rig for the year. I think this is the, I don't think I've ever started a year with the same rig as the year before, but feeling okay about it. I have zero idea what the plan is today. Part of me wants to make like 14. Part of me wants to make like 1,000, call it good. I don't think I've ever, with the turbo, I've never made more than 2 hits on the dyno down here because we got Cincinnati in 4 days. And I never want to like wreck anything. I'd rather wreck it at the track. I don't want to take all the fun out of it. So still up for debate. Okay, so the list of issues so far, basically everything is awful. It makes no horsepower. Let's see, what was the first issue? Fuel pressure regulator didn't work. So we swapped regulators. That one didn't work either. So then we found where we had it in the intake, what we thought was a port wasn't even a port. There was a plug way in there that nobody saw. I bought this used, so we got that fixed. Well then, at that point, we, the coolant overflow was so full, it was just pushing everywhere. So then we put a carbon monoxide detector on it. And the coolant system's full of carbon monoxide too. So even if you set aside all of those issues, we still have a motor that makes 750 horsepowers on 17 pounds. Now, to add to the confusion, last year when this thing didn't make any power, it turned out the reluctor wheel was off by 10 degrees. So we were making peak power in like 36 degrees last year. Right now, so you gotta keep that in the equation here. So right now we're on what, 17 pounds and 21 degrees, which on a normal motor, for reference, would be 11 degrees? No, yeah, 11 degrees. So you might be thinking, well, I'll put some timing in it and everything will be okay. Well, the problem is we just added 2 or 3 degrees and it picked up like 15 horse. So now I'm aggravated and Steven wants to do the smart thing and make little moves, and I'm just gonna put 10 degrees in it and see what happens. So at this point, I'm so frustrated, I'd rather the rods just fall out on the ground and I can go home than sit here and play these games all day. So in my violent rage, Steven asked me if I'd at least pull a plug and look first to make sure. Well, this is hard to focus on, but as you can see, I mean, it's not there, but we're in the ballpark, which implies that it won't take 10 degrees whatsoever, but I still want to try it. Maybe 5 to start. Maybe 2.
We're very transparent out here.
So I was having a meltdown. Steven's like, you should check and make sure all the holes are firing. And this is a brand new plug, Steven.
Yeah, I cleaned it for you.
So Steven forgot to turn on cylinder 6. So we're gonna work on that. So continuing on with the disaster that is today, Steven's in-depth diagnosis found a, you gotta have the wire on there. So we're gonna swap that out quick. Stand by. So, okay, well, at least we can go to eat now. So there was a little concern earlier that the head gasket was kind of hurting, and now it's gone. So we're gonna head to dinner and check back next year.
It's day two. It's day two of the saga. I'm dying slowly. It's a cold. It's like a man cold thing, but so bear with me here. It's a little tough. So I quit racing last night. I got home. It was late. I just parked the rig. So done. Had enough. And then about 6 o'clock this morning, we had to formulate a game plan so we get to Cincinnati on Friday. So, as you can see, head is off the driver's side, and number three was our issue. So, when you saw it come off the dyno, there's quite a bit of smoke off, and the breathers are filling up. So, it pushed the gasket out the bottom here on number 3. Haven't got the other side off yet. Might be wondering how I did all this when I have a full-time job. Well, turns out the people in my life are just as crazy as I am, and I went to work this morning with no plans on doing this. I was just going to skip Cincy, and Josh came down and started working on the car, and while he did that, Steven drove an hour to go get a set of heads for us, and then my wife was out here finding parts and sourcing parts and verifying what we had and what we needed. So I guess we're back in. So I'm going to get this other head off, and we'll see if there's any damage over there, but I don't think so. So long story short here is we are going to abandon these cylinder heads. If you've been around for a while, you know that last year I had a little trouble with these, and I never ever cared for them, and I didn't like them, and I honestly had a gut feeling that they shouldn't go on this motor. They're kind of mysteries. They were CNC'd by a company that's no longer in business anymore, so we had zero paperwork on them. Every thread in them has been repaired at one point or another. I mean, every single thread. The valve cover bolts, the rocker bolts, even the mounting bolts out front here. Some have inserts in them on the other head. They're a bad deal. I believe they've been milled more than once. And I'm going to go with that for my final answer. Deck surface, too thin, no good. I don't know. Come up with your own theories if you want. Either way, I don't trust cylinder heads anymore, and I don't trust the coils anymore. So both those are getting replaced. I'm going to pull this head off. We'll double check, make sure there's nothing else crazy going on. After that, the new cylinder heads are going on. Okay, haha, I take back what I said. What I meant when I said we got number 3 is we got all of them. That's what I meant to tell you, is that all of them were gotten. Either way, no time to waste. I'm gonna blast these 685s off of here. Josh should be back with new heads in about 40 minutes. And then back together we go. Stand by. For the video, just a quick recap. Happened kind of fast there in the video. So to break it down, we put it on. The first issue was running super rich. We were unsure why. We kind of got that handled, and then we found the fuel pressure wasn't rising, so we actually swapped out my dongle air motive for a full regulator. That still didn't fix it. That's when we found the intake. The hole was actually not drilled all the way through. It's very deceiving from the outside, but anyhow, we fixed that. At that point, we then realized that we were still down like 250 horse, so that was the point in which we started temping the cylinders. We found a dead one. Yes, I should have EGTs, and I still don't. We remedied that, and that's when it started making some power. So we ended up making 980 on like 17. And I felt pretty good about it. I felt like that was on track for where we should be. Yes, I blatantly ignored the fact where we bumped coolant earlier in the run. I know I don't make great decisions quite frequently. And something you should understand, when we're on the dyno, so me and Steven's relationship's a little different in the sense that I don't like drop my car off and have him tune it. I actually rent the dyno from him. So when you see really poor decisions being made, that's usually very much so against his wishes and desires. So I don't ever want that to be a reflection on Steven, because I wreck a lot of stuff just off pure stupidity, like, pushing a head gasket and saying, let's just carry on and see if we can make 1,400. But anyhow, so that's kind of how the whole night went. And then obviously the last pull, when we went for a little bit more, because I want to put more time in it yet, is when it completely grenaded. So I'll get into the cylinder heads that we're going to use and where they're coming from in the next video. But just know that we'll be treading a little bit more carefully moving forward from this point.